Vision is necessary if you expect to achieve success in life. The Bible tells us that without a vision, the people will perish. I want to share with you the importance of vision and the impact that it had in my life. Now, those of you who have not gotten my ebook, What Being Broke Taught Me, you need to go get that because it has so many amazing tips about what not to do. Because I did a whole bunch of dumb stuff that resulted into me having so many financial struggles. But I'm going to tell you this. One of the things that enabled me to get back on track was the power of vision. What you'll find if you read my book is that when I was a little girl, I had such a vivid imagination, and I got a lot of my inspiration from the stories. So those of you who may have been raised by your grandmother, or you spent a substantial amount of time with your grandmother, you know all too well about the stories. In my grandmom's house, it was going to be The Young and the Restless, The Bold and the Beautiful, As the World Turns, and God in Light. That was the lineup every single day. Well, from watching those shows, I gained vision as a young child of what I wanted my life to be like, specifically from a financial perspective, when I became an adult. Because the bottom line was, when you really consider the environment I was in, while we may not have recognized it, we were a working poor family. My mother was a cook and my father was a taxi cab driver. My grandfather was a truck driver and my grandmother was a stay-at-home mom. And so we didn't grow up with a lot of money. Now, we probably thought we had a lot of money because my mother and my father always had a nice car. Every single Christmas, there were gifts all over the place. And so the concept of money really was that you get it and you spend it, which is a poverty mindset. And so that's the mindset that I grew up with, was a poverty mindset. But I had a vision. A lot of people are nervous when they hear you talk about the importance of having a vision because they overcomplicate the word and they overcomplicate what you have to do to have a vision. Now, here's the thing. You have to start somewhere. And vision is exactly what it is. It's what you see. And so the first step to having a vision is having a concept in your mind for what you desire your life to be. And so I got my concept from the stories and I got my concept from The Cosby Show because Claire Huxtable was that girl. And I wanted to be Claire Huxtable. I wanted to have a career. I wanted to have the family. I wanted to have the nice house. I wanted to have all those things. And so being exposed to family or families who had what I considered to be wealth is what guided my vision even as a young child. And so as I grew up, again, I grew up with a poverty mindset. And so I didn't know how to manage money. I didn't know what you were really supposed to do with money. I didn't know that money was simply a seed or a tool and not a means to an end. But vision was so important because when I got old enough to start making money and I started doing a whole bunch of dumb stuff, it was the vision that I had when I was a little girl that was able to start pulling me back on track. Vision is important. Vision is powerful. And I want to encourage you today to have vision. Don't be moved by your current circumstances. Don't be moved by what people around you have to say. Because I'm going to tell you this, when you really get a true vision for your life, and listen, this is the thing that I'll tell you about vision. When you get your vision in mind and you start going through the process of creating a vision, you got to think about what you want your life to be if there were no limitations, if there were no financial restraints, if there were no health restraints, relational restraints. What would you want your life to look like? When you begin to get that concept in your mind, and if you are so daring to share that with people, get ready for pushback. When I tell you that all of my life, I've had people almost laughing and jesting, saying things like, yeah, right, when I shared my vision, because most people can't grasp the concept of greatness. Most people can't grasp the concept of living life with no limits. And so you have to be clear about what you desire. You have to be clear about where you're going. And then you have to be real clear about how you're going to get there. That's the beginning of what being broke taught me. The beginning of being broke taught me is the story of a young girl who had a vision. And although she faced many, many, many obstacles in life to prevent her from achieving that vision, it was the vision that kept her moving forward. It was the vision that enabled her to overcome her obstacles. And I want you to know today that it's going to be your vision that is going to keep you on the path to success.